G'day trendsetters, I'm in Nashville, the other Nashville, Nashville, Georgia. Right behind me is a small part of the downtown. This is the courthouse, so I'll give you a quick tour of, and we'll get rolling. There's my steed for today, a review bike, the Ritte Satyr, or however you pronounce it, I'm always getting it wrong. It's fitted with Shimano GRX 1x and Roval Terra CLX wheels, which I've reviewed on the Gravel Cyclist website, and the tyres are the Panaracer Gravelking SS, semi-slick. Righto, enough rambling about the bike, let's kick off a look around downtown. I drove into town along Old Coffee Road. There's the history behind the road, which is an important part of this area. This is a World War I memorial for those people who served from Berrien County, which is the county that hosts Nashville. All you need to know about Berrien County right there. And here is the old courthouse, which is now home to the Berrien Historical Foundation. I'll give you a quick lap of the facility. There's usually always a veterans memorial at most courthouses in these small towns, and Nashville is no different. Today, on the day of this filming, it is Memorial Day here in the United States, so a lot of businesses are closed, observing that holiday. Lamb & Co. 1907. Here is a real world barber shop. You don't see these too often anymore, maybe in bigger cities, but he's closed today. There's 3 chairs inside. Love to have a haircut and a straight razor shave if they offer that service. On the right, the former Berrien drugstore. That might have been a gas station at one point in time, is my guess. Those petrol prices aren't too bad. $1.62 for regular petrol. Lovely. Rolling some pavement right now towards the first of many gravelly sectors. Well, the forecast today is for something like 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which it's about 24 Celsius. Overcast skies, should be very pleasant. There is a slight chance of rain later on. Fingers crossed, I don't get rain. Here we are onto the first road, and it looks magnificent. Super hard packed, look at that. Behind those trees is a very sizable cornfield. Corn grows quite well in the southeast of the United States. There's even corn in Florida. lovely little wetlands on the right. Plenty of water lilies. Very young corn, planted recently. And I've seen nobody on these roads so far. Just how I like it. It's pretty neat how those solitary pine trees just stand out among the cornfields. This particular road is a wee bit sandy, but thankfully it rained a couple of days ago, so the roads are relatively hard packed. And I've got those fantastic Panaracer Gravelking SS tyres I mentioned earlier, and these seem to marvel in the sandy conditions. Now I'm entering the forest of Endor, whatever you want to call it, and it's very swampy. Not a good place to have a flat tyre. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen today either. Evidence of recent rain within the drainage ditch. This road here is quite slow, Velcro-like. What a baby cow is taking a nap right there. It's almost like a mangrove. Very swampy. Sounds like I woke the neighbourhood up. I think the dogs are a bit grumpy. Check out the treehouse there. I believe those are pecan trees. If I've gotten it wrong, feel free to correct me. Okay folks, we've got a ton of dogs ahead of us. There's about 8 of them. And they're all either babies, oh they're all running away, look at that. They're toy dogs, but I don't know. Here we go. Hey, settle down there. You behave yourselves. Oh, those are puppies. Hello puppies. Going for a run? Good man. It's a neat old trailer there. I'm not sure what vintage it is, but pretty cool. It's been abandoned. Check out this neat old caravan. Looks to be of aluminium construction, but it's not an Airstream. Parked next to an old house. He was a member of the NFO collective bargaining. There's some farm equipment just behind the house. There's the Ritte set up in adventure mode. He was too lazy to chase me. this might be a private road, I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't signposted as such. There were no trespassing signs about the place. But interesting road surface though. It's like a dark, black, gravelly mix. Well, I've seen a lot of interesting things. Oh, hello snake. I've seen a lot of interesting things dumped by the side of the road, but what the hell is that? A massive chunk of metal. This farm has quite the extensive graveyard of vehicles. This road is supposedly on my route. I have a bad feeling it's dodgy because I'm heading straight towards this farm. Oh boy. Yes, I think this is going to call for a plan B. Well, it's time to join me on a bush bashing adventure because the only way out of here is straight across the edge of this fence line. I noticed the burned out Dodge Ram truck. Yikes. Alright, so let's hope that we don't get in trouble for doing this. I'm just going to hug this fence line as close as possible. As you can see, I'm bush bashing right now, one-legged, through a deep rut that has been driven, I think, a few times. Now you understand why I never upload anything. You don't want to be following my pedal strokes. No one's around thus far, so that's good. Now I did pass a bloke on the road riding in here, so I suspect he might be the landowner or work out here. The good news is I'm almost out, and there's a major highway which I was expecting. Let's sneak past this house here. Hopefully there's no dogs around. It's quite bloody neat. Oh, love it, made it through. Try and contain yourself, folks. I'm about to enter the city limit of Enigma in Georgia. And here we are on the main drag that passes through Enigma basically. And coming soon, that would be a Dollar General, and in the background you can see the Enigma water tower. Let's have a closer look around downtown. It's quite a small town. And there you go, the water tower of Enigma. I'm wondering how many minutes of video could I assemble if I showed every single water tower I've ever seen in one video. It would be a water tower video. How amazing would that be? Welcome to the old downtown of Enigma, Georgia. This is about the second or third time I've visited, and you might notice you're getting value today, 2 for the price of 1 on water towers. That one being a much newer construct. It hasn't changed much since I was here last time. Maybe the fire department. Here be the post office. Here is City Hall for Enigma, Georgia, right there. And on the right side here we have an industrial strength floor cleaner and an ex-military Humvee. Righto, that's the tour of Enigma, Georgia completed. It's time to press on for the next destination. Next town we're rolling into is Alapaha, or Alapaha, or Alapaha, however you pronounce it. There we go, the city limits. Welcome to Alapaha, Georgia, established in 1881. Let's head towards downtown and conduct a look around. remains of an old grocery store touting air conditioned. It was also once Virginia's Beauty Lounge. Welcome to Main Street, Alapaha, however it's pronounced. Alapaha, maybe. Dixon Seed and Chemical. Classic feed store you'd expect to find in the country. And on the right, the US Post Office for Alapaha, Georgia, 31622-998. Oh, here we go. Here's the Alapaha Fire Department with the city complex right behind. Let's have a look. It's not a very big town, this one. Been through it a couple of years ago. It's always nice to revisit. Look at that. The council chambers also serves as the municipal court. There's more of downtown beyond, so you're more than likely going to find some railway action of some kind on Southwest Railway Street. And look at that. This is definitely the old downtown right here. We'll do a complete tour momentarily. We're going to kick it off by heading towards the railway stations just ahead of us and admire the water tower and other features in the town. So there you go, folks. There is evidence of the former railway line on the road here. So one track, the one on the right, went towards the railway station. The other probably kept going further on down where that path is right now. We'll have a close look in a moment. Just do a lap first. Oh, there we go. We have a caboose still. Pardon the incessant beeping of the Wahoo Roam device. It would seem at one stage the city reconstituted part of the railway station for the city offices. Here was the city manager's office and here was the mayor's office. Oh yes, it needs a complete rework, does the old railway station. These boards are probably dodgy as hell. Not going to go too close to the edge over there. That might have been announcing a time travel at one point in time. There's definitely plans to rebuild this establishment because there's a lot of newer looking timber laying around here. All rotted out, not going to walk there. Beautiful old caboose. Sometimes these cabooses were a home away from home with some rudimentary items, but there's a stove in there. Looks like a modern countertop, well, modern-ish anyway. So maybe someone was living in here at one point in time. These boards are dodgy as hell. Okay, here's the rear of the caboose. And here's another look at the platform. Now I'm going to assume they had two lines coming either side. The water tower for Alapaha, Georgia. This building on the right is for sale. It's an old storefront. And here we have the Bank of Alapaha. That's a newer building for sure. Maybe they rebuilt something there. And here's the original bank building, established in 1805. It's a sleepy little town, this one. looks like a great fishing spot. Let's have a quick look. This is just adjacent to the one-lane bridge. Only 5 miles of swampy type roads to traverse. Well, the roads themselves aren't swampy, they're nice and hard packed. But either side there's plenty of swamp action. There are some ominous clouds hanging around. 30% chance of rain when I left. Fingers crossed it doesn't turn to 100% chance of rain for this location. I am drawing closer to my third and final town of the day along the route. So we have that to look forward to. Someone's converted an old F350 to some kind of homemade bush hog. Well, it's knackered now, but that's some ingenious engineering work there. Wee bit of a headwind right now. All being well, I'll have a tailwind on the way home. Fingers crossed. Welcome folks to the city limits of Willacoochee, Georgia. Welcome to Willacoochee, the residential area. Well, there you go. You don't see too many United States Air Force former jet fighters hanging around in town, do you now? That's the Willacoochee Lodge right there, the stonemasons. It's time for me to pull into the Willacoochee market and get some goodies. Here we are folks, within the city limits of Willacoochee, Georgia. I'm hiding out inside the driveway of a bank ATM, just trying to mind my own business away from the other humanoids. Anyway, going to rehydrate here and then continue with the cultural tour of downtown Willacoochee. There isn't a whole lot to see here in Willacoochee. It's basically a town that's divided by a main road whose hardware store seems to exist still, as does this little Mexican store. Looks like we have some more railway memorabilia here. Have a close look in a second. That's a rail car of some kind, and there's a caboose behind it. And this might have been the Willacoochee railway station, but it's been reconstituted by the look of it to a library. There isn't much left in Willacoochee. This is the main road that passes right through the town effectively. And honestly, it bypasses most of it. Just a couple of gas stations. The stores I've got the camera pointed at right now, most of those are out of business. That appears to be the Willacoochee Police Department. And there we have the water tower for Willacoochee, Georgia. On the outskirts of Willacoochee now, it's time to get rolling. This seems to be a dumping area for the railway. There's a ton of fish plates right there. And the track ends right here and heads basically south out of town. Those railway tyres are all due to be replaced. On the way out of Willacoochee, and I've got a marvellous tailwind to push me all the way home. I've got about 30 kilometres left to ride, so that's pretty sweet. Okay, I'm back into Berrien County and crossing the Alapaha River, which is what the town I visited before was named after. A lot of people down there. Off the road, boy. Take a gander at this beautiful forest road. I'm in the heart of some desolate timberland country and some farmland on some sides of the road. This is the longest road of the route. It's about 10 miles long, and there are some sandy spots here and there, so fingers crossed I don't have to deal with some sand pits along the way. But I've got about 20 kilometres left to ride, so about 13 miles, not too bad. And thankfully the temperatures, as I mentioned earlier, are quite pleasant, so I'm not dying in the heat today. This final stretch has a ton of sandy roads. Thankfully I'm doing okay to stay on top mostly, but it's really burning the gas in the legs. And if you've never ridden sand before, it's far worse than deep gravel. There's some ominous dark clouds behind me. Thankfully I have a tailwind pushing me, but I hope I'm not on borrowed time to get dumped on by a nasty storm. This is one of the final sections of pavement I'm riding towards the start town of Nashville, Georgia, and it is quite frankly in worse condition than some of the crappiest gravel roads I've ever ridden. Nothing like living on the edge. Just 2 miles left to ride, under 3 kilometres, and you can see that storm is just over in the distance. Back into Nashville, Georgia, city of Dogwoods. Before you are a couple of locos and a caboose or two from Panaracer, which I assume is a small operation local to Nashville, Valdosta area. If you enjoy classic cars, there are many to be seen just around the corner from the main drag here in Nashville. Well, I think this is as good a time as any to wrap up today's video. Thanks for tagging along. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos as they appear on the channel. I'll see you in the next video.